Good morning, everyone. Today is Saturday, and a very, very happy Saturday to all of you. We have with us here today a powerhouse. She is all about radiance. She is a being of light. Welcome, Nadia, to our Be Your Own North Star show. And a very warm welcome to all the people who are going to watch this video, who are watching this video, this live right now. And please share it so that people who need to hear the messages hidden in this conversation can take away from that and, experience something different in their lives. So, a little bit about Nadia. She is a delight. She's so effervescent. Look at her smile. She's a high school drama teacher, a cancer survivor, a motivational speaker. Her personal brand is called Choose I Can. Her high energy talks and her workshops are designed to inspire individuals to transform their limiting beliefs into empowering opportunities. What I love about Nadia, she always finds a way to give more, to over deliver than what she has committed herself to. Not only does she empower people with whatever she has to share, her own wisdom, she also donates 10% of any paid bookings to cancer research. Now, that's a giver. I mean, I'm so, so full of admiration for you, Nadia.
Goodness.
Yeah. So, welcome, and now
Thank
take
you.
over from here. Tell us a little bit about your story,
Sure.
who you were before you had cancer,
Sure.
where was your life going, what would you do, and when you experienced cancer, I would say cancer experienced you. What happened?
Love
What
that.
happened?
I love that.
Yes.
I totally share. But before I do, I want to say thank you for this opportunity from all my heart and all my soul. Thank you for this opportunity. Just being in your presence, even virtually, energy is felt, energy is transferred, energy
Thank you.
transpires. And being in your
Thank you.
presence is such an honor, such a privilege.
Thank
You are a
you.
beacon of hope, light. I've
Thank
always looked
you.
up to you. I've always and always will look up to you since we
Thank
met
you. Thank
years
you.
ago. You're just somebody that inspires me so much, and
Thank
being here
you.
with you is like a dream come true. And
Oh,
I know I've never shared this with you, but almost like a mom, like a love for you, like you're
oh,
like
so
a mom
cute.
to me. Yeah, even tears right now. Just so much love in my heart for you, your
Thank
children.
you.
Your
Thank you.
spirit is out of this world, and I want to thank you
Thank you.
for having me on your amazing
Thank you. Thank you.
show. Yes, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Received all the love. Thank you.
So yeah, I can absolutely share with you, yeah, a little bit of background information about me. Nadia Gulamhusein is my name. I grew up in Vancouver, BC. I have siblings out there. My parents are out there, currently in Toronto, but grew up there, born there, to immigrant parents. They're from East Africa. That's where I grew up. That's where I spent my childhood. And a lot of my childhood was spent just in so much gratitude to them for leaving their life to make a better one for us.
Right.
So just looking at them, looking at their struggle, looking at where they came from, looking at what they came with,
Awesome.
nothing to give us a better life. And so a lot of my childhood was just wanting to do right, by
Yes,
them, wanting to make their sacrifices for something. And so that was where
absolutely.
I grew up. And looking at my parents, yeah, do something out of nothing. Optimism, growing up really did become my North Star.
Right.
I know to reference your show, but that's
Yes.
what it became. I just
Right.
was looking at them. I was like, you know what? I want to make them proud. I want to make this for something. So I worked
Right.
hard. High school, I worked hard. University, I worked hard. And that was really my childhood. And not only that, a lot of my childhood was spent also exploring who I was. So it was a self-awareness journey from a young age. You know,
Right.
I just saw this can-do attitude in my parents, and I wanted
Right.
to mirror that. I wanted to mirror that. You know, if they can come from nothing and build something, and it was with this can-do attitude, this ambition, and with, you know, eyes of gratitude, I wanted to mirror that. So I would work hard, and every time I would feel something kind of come my way, I would say, you know, I'm gonna believe, and where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will,
Yes.
there's a way. Where
Yes.
there's a will,
Yes.
there's a way. And that, you know, that was repeated often to myself through writing,
Right.
through self-talk. So this journey of self-awareness has really started from quite a young age. It's
Right.
continued on until today, but it was really starting and stemming from these eyes of gratitude towards what my parents had sacrificed for us, and seeing them again take something and build something, like come here with literally $1 and a dream, and then, you know, did what they, you know, did for us. I was like, no, I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna, God willing, make them proud and make this something for nothing. I'm sorry, make this
Yes.
something instead of nothing. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I, again, all through university. So then I came here as a young girl. I was an adventurous young cat. And I said,
I'm
Mommy
sure.
and Daddy, I want to go away for university, you know? And they're like, okay, are you sure, Betta? Betta is like an endearing term, right? Are you sure,
Yes.
Betta? I'm like, yes, I want to go away from university. I want to go away from university because I want to learn. I want to have an adventure. In high school, I was very into drama, theater. So that kind of brought out that energy. And I was like, I really
Right.
want to explore and learn more. And they're like, okay. I'm like, don't worry, I'll be back.
I'm sure.
I'm still here. My favorite joke is, I told them, don't worry, I'll be back 4 years. I'm gonna come back. My favorite joke is, you want to make God laugh? Tell him your plans. You tell him your
Right.
plans. You make him laugh.
Yeah.
You tell him your plans.
Right.
So that was my plan to go back home after university. I went to McMaster University, studied science and theater there. Graduated, went home for 2 years, came back, went to teachers college, got married, had a baby, you know, and here I am teaching high school. You know, just feeling incredibly blessed with the little one that we have. He's now about 2.5, just about.
Nice.
So blessed with this little guy. I cannot thank my lucky stars enough for this incredible blessing in our lives. Light of my life, joy of my world. Just we were just talking, you know, just prior to going live, just watching them and their
Right.
internal resilience with none of that
Absolutely.
doubt or none of that expectation taking over. Just pure power and resilience. Just watching that is just
Right.
magic. So
Absolutely.
that, yeah, so that
Absolutely.
kind of brings us to where I am today. But of course, you referenced the cancer journey, and that happened somewhere in between there. And
Right.
so basically what happened was with the cancer journey, I'd love to share a little bit about that experience, as you know, referenced and said, you know, talk about that a little bit. Love to share. So yeah, just graduated high school. No, sorry, just graduated university. Pep in my step. You know, let's go. Let's attack the world. Degree in hand. But little did I know that degree came with a diagnosis. That degree came with a
Mm.
diagnosis. I was very, very, very sick leading up to my
Mm.
McMaster graduation ceremony, and I didn't even know it. And I didn't even
Mm-hmm.
know it. I was so sick, losing weight rapidly, drenched in sweat nightly, you know, just cough, just symptoms of just headaches and all that
Mm.
just taking over my body. And I was trying my best to be proactive. And I said, I'm not well. So I was actually walking in and out of clinics, in and out of clinics, in and out of clinics, in and out of clinics to find out what was wrong with me. But at the end
Right.
of the day, I actually didn't get concrete answers.
Right.
It's the flu.
Right.
You have a sinus infection.
Right.
Take these antibiotics. You'll be fine. So
Yes.
I did that. I took the antibiotics, like, you know, in the hopes that I would be fine, but symptoms have still
No.
coming back over and over and over.
Mm.
And then finally, it was my mom who said, that's enough. We're going to the hospital.
Right.
And it was clear I needed to go. There was no argument on my end. This young cat, I was like,
Yes.
Mom, yeah,
Yeah.
let's
Let's
go.
go.
That's five times in and out of clinics, not getting those answers. Let's do this. So I went to the hospital, blood work, urine test, chest x-ray, all those, ECG, all those things.
Everything.
And I was sent home.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told there was nothing wrong with me.
Yeah. I hear you.
And the next day, I actually got a call from the hospital. And that morning, I went to work. I was actually working, it was summer, and I was working a job at a daycare, an after-school program. And I drove to work, and I literally felt like my head was going to explode. I got to the parking lot. I called my boss, and I said, I'm so sorry. I cannot come in. I'm here, but I need to go home. I went home. I put my head over the covers. The phone rang. I picked it up, and it was the hospital. And they said, you need to come back.
Right.
And I said, now? And they said, yeah, you need to come back now. The doctor or the radiologist has taken a re-look at your chest x-ray. Now, who guided that re-look? I can only look above and say so much praise that they were guided to take a re-look. Because at that point, you go to the hospital and you're sent home. You think you've done everything you can do now.
Absolutely.
And then you're sent home, and they said that a cold or flu had gone into my lungs. But just give it some time, and I'm going to be okay.
Right.
So something guided that re-look, and I'll never stop saying thank you for that. And I know it was the big G. I call God the big G, so I'm probably going to reference big G a lot. So I mean, I mean God, and big G was looking out for me, and they had, they took a re-look. I went back, and that day I was diagnosed with cancer at 24.
Wow.
24. Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, that was the day. And at first it was just numbness.
Yes.
At first it was just numbness.
Yes. But it's a shock. It's a shock.
Yes. And again, just graduated university, pep in my step. Let's do this. Let's attack the world. I'm ready.
Yes.
And this was like a brick to the face.
Yes. Absolutely.
And I was just totally numb. And then the tests started, right? To get what type of cancer is this?
Right.
So, yeah, more blood work, fine needle biopsy, open biopsy, bone marrow biopsy.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, just so many. So for that first week I was in the hospital, and just numbness.
Right.
No real reaction, just shock to the system.
Yes.
And, my family, they're so amazing. And I could see that they were trying to be strong with all this information, but they were hurting.
Yes.
So badly. I can't imagine now having a son, being a mom.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So to me, trying to be these soldiers, which they are for me.
Yes.
But they were hurting, and that was hurting me because I couldn't control their pain.
Yes.
I couldn't make it go away.
Right.
So that was really hard.
Yes.
Because I couldn't imagine what they're going through. And I think often sometimes, I've realized that sometimes the people that are looking in, that feel they can't help, sometimes hurt more.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I felt that, I felt that in my family, that they were really hurting, and I was numb at the time. So, and I couldn't do anything for them. We didn't even have a proper diagnosis.
Right.
And so, that was a challenge, because I'm usually that I'm going to make you feel better, girl.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to make you feel better.
Yeah.
But I couldn't make them feel better. I didn't even know what was happening with me. And so I'm watching them hurting. I'm completely numb. And just going through the motions. Those tests. Those tests. Doctors coming in and out of the room.
Yes.
My mom wouldn't leave my side. God bless her. Just there every moment of every day.
Yes.
And of course, just being who I was, I went into some deep reflection.
Right.
I was just like numb, just deep reflection. And I realized with that reflection, with that week of just numbness, that I had two choices. And we always do.
Yes.
I had two choices. I thought to myself, I can let this diagnosis define and defeat me.
Yes.
Or I can choose I can.
Yes.
And step into my greatness.
Yes, absolutely.
A greatness that everybody has.
Absolutely.
And I had built my life to this point saying that where there was a will, there was a way. I had built my life saying that if you believe it, you can achieve it. I had built my life saying, you say you can't and it's done. You say you can and you have won. So that wasn't the time I was going to give up, because that to me was God saying, you talk a big talk. You talk a big talk.
Yeah.
But can you walk the walk? And that's what I believed he was asking me.
Absolutely.
Can you walk the walk? And so, you know, I could retreat or I could rise.
Right.
And I chose the latter. Because I said to myself, and that's God's will. And I said I said to myself, I can't always control my circumstances, but I can choose my perspective.
Absolutely.
And my perspective, and I chose the perspective. And one day, you know, I cried so much in the car, and I'll share that with you in just a moment. And it's because I decided, I said, no, I'm going to make a choice. And I decided that this experience will be beautiful. This experience will be beautiful. Conscious, deliberate choice.
Right.
This experience will be beautiful. It will be a learning and growing opportunity. I am going to learn. I am going to grow. And when this happened, so many things, little things I want to share. There was a moment in the car with my mom, 2 chemotherapy sessions in, and I just started to cry. And I mean, really cry. And I was just crying and crying and crying. And I could tell that her heart was breaking, because nobody wants to see anybody cry like that, let alone their own child. Right? And she'd seen me cry already, right? These things come with tears. You know, I'm just like everybody else. You know, I'm not this superhuman person that made this decision. I'm just like you. Everybody listening is just like me.
Yes.
So I'm bawling, and she asked me, she said, Nadia, why are you crying? You know? And I said, Mommy. I said, Mommy, I'm crying because I said, Mommy, I'm crying because I am so inspired. I said, Mommy, I am so inspired by the strength that God knows I have. Because I wholeheartedly believe that you will never be put in a situation that you cannot handle. Wholeheartedly, heart, soul. If you are in it, you can win it, period. That is my perspective. That you are powerful, resilient, brave, brilliant. And if you are in it, you can win it, period. And I cried that day. And when I was diagnosed in the hospital, I remembered a moment. You won't believe this. I remembered a moment. I told you, as a young cat, I was that ambitious go-getter, believing that I can do anything. Yes. And one day I went to the student center. You will not believe this. I went to the student center. This is obviously pre-cancer, and I had all these beliefs already in my head. And I'm in the student center, and they're having they're having this event to raise money for cancer. And women are shaving their heads for cancer. At
Right.
this point, I have no association with cancer. And you won't believe this. I looked at them and I looked at what they were doing. And I said to myself, I believe I can do anything, but I don't think I can do that.
Mm.
And God said,
Dare
oh,
you?
yes, you can. And I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
And that was years prior. That was like first year, second year, maybe. This is now 4 or 5 years later,
Right.
And I remember
Mm.
saying that. And I
Yeah.
remembered that when it happened.
Right.
If we live our lives with our eyes and ears open, you will be shown your greatness.
Yes.
In so many ways. So
Absolutely.
that's the story of the diagnosis and the way I felt. Yeah, that's the story of all that piece.
Wow. That is a very inspirational story. Very moving, very touching. I hear some static. Do you
Me
hear
too.
that
Let me put
too?
my headphones in to see if that will correct that.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi.
How's that?
Awesome. Yeah, perfect. So
Perfect.
that is amazing. That's a very powerful story, as powerful as you are. The power comes from you. That's why I called you Powerhouse, Nadia. And well, thank you for
Praise
sharing
is the
that.
big G, big G, big G.
And thank you. Yes, all praise to the big G. And my next question to you is, so this cancer journey was kind of the next level of your North Star journey. Like you already had that, you said as a child when you were growing up, living purposefully, acknowledging the sacrifices that your parents made, and being grateful for that. You already had direction in which way you wanted to go, and that's why you were a go-getter, because you had clarity about what you wanted. You can only be a go-getter and you can only be an achiever when you are clear about what you want. And then now this was taking it to a whole new level of being, and from my own personal experience of cancer, the same thing happened to me. I was told there's nothing wrong, it's a flu, and there's that's an enlarged lymph node. I had a bump here in my clavicle, and there's something inside say they're supposed to be the experts and they're supposed to know, but something inside you tells you no.
Yes. Agree.
It
Yeah.
tells you, even though my doctor kept saying, and I had no symptoms.
Yeah,
You had a
asymptomatic.
headache. Yeah, I had no symptoms at all. But that was something that bothered me. Why would
Yes.
there be a lump in the clavicle for no reason? And
Yes.
even though my doctor's supposed to be an educated expert in this,
Yes.
I still insisted on
Yes.
having an ultrasound. And he was like, it's not needed. And 3 months went by,
Yes.
and it eventually, when I had the surgery, what they found out, that bump was the size of a tennis ball. And
Wow.
the report that I had from the surgeon, he said we don't know how she was breathing, and because my food pipe was pushed to one side with that the ball in the way. and
Wow.
and it was not just one, there it was like a bunch of grapes in there.
Wow.
So, something inside you tells you, no, there's something more to it. And
Yes.
I argued with the doctor. He said, like, why do you want an ultrasound? I said, no, I want one. And the first ultrasound said it,
Wow.
that it was cancer.
Wow.
It was, all it needed was like something was not right. And then, of course, I went for my surgery.
Yes.
But yes, my first experience when I got to know that I had cancer was also shock.
Yes.
And my first thought was my children. Like,
Yes, of
it
course.
wasn't even about me. It was about my kids. Like, what's going to happen to them if something happens to me? Because they were so young. My youngest was 3, and
Yes, of course.
my twins were 6 years old. My older one was just 19,
Wow.
and they were hurting.
Of
So, like,
course.
I really went back. You took me back into that moment. The younger ones were small. They didn't really. Simran, my youngest one, didn't
Yeah,
even understand much,
of
but my
course.
older one was like, "Go away."
Yes.
She was hurting so much. She said, "You only give me pain."
Wow.
She didn't want to talk to me. And she buried
Wow.
her face in the pillow in
Wow.
her room, and she was crying and sobbing her heart out.
Wow.
So it was very, for me, facing my children was more
Yes.
painful than dealing with cancer.
I understand. I
And,
really do.
and then the fears of, what that disease means.
Yeah.
Because mostly, and even in my own family, my
Of course.
aunts and uncles have died of cancer.
Yes.
Nobody survived.
Yes.
So I, I like, that's it. Like, it's like a death sentence. It's somewhere
Yep.
in the back of your head. It's like a death
Yes.
sentence. Okay, that's it. The end. This is it. But I had to push past that.
Right.
I had to push past that narrative. And,
Yes.
you know, whoever you talk to, there and tell them you have cancer, I saw a shift in how they would treat me. It's like, I'm dying,
Yep.
so be nice to her.
Yep.
You know, so it's scary. Because it's kind of validating my fear
Yes.
that, oh yeah, I think I'm dying, and so people are being nice to me, and that kind of thing.
Yes.
And then they tell you things like, so and so had cancer, that was their experience, or I had cancer and that was my experience, or I
Yes.
went through chemo and that was my experience, and you lose your hair and you throw up and this happens and that happens.
Yes.
Until and then I said, okay, I'm not going to listen to any one of this.
Mm-hmm.
I did not disrespect anybody. It was
Yes.
their experience and it's
Yes.
true for them. I didn't have to make it true for me.
Right.
And when I went for my surgery, and then after my chemo,
Yes.
my daughter gave me a book called Dying to Be Me by Anita Moorjani.
Okay.
And I can't say it enough that that book was so encouraging, because Anita Moorjani, the writer, is alive. I met her,
Wow.
and she travels around the world. She shares her story. She's written her book, and
Wow.
she shares her story of how her cancer journey, and how she had cancer, and she was in a coma. Her
Wow.
organs were failing,
Wow.
and she crossed over. She chose she chose, like you said, choose I can. She talks about the choice. she
Right.
even she chose to come back, and what motivated her to come back was the love of her husband. he
Wow.
was he was sitting by her bed, holding her hand and telling her how much he loves her
Wow.
the whole time.
Wow.
And
Beautiful.
I have so much respect for that man. I've never met him, but I wish every woman has a loving husband like him. Bring her back from death. That
Wow.
love brought her back from death. That's
It's
like a
incredible.
love to cherish, and it's like beyond.
Absolutely.
I cannot. And the doctors to this day, she lived in Singapore. The doctors to this day cannot explain how her organs were failing and
Wow.
everything. She got her vitality back.
Wow.
They can't explain that. And she says, I crossed over, and in that moment, I realized all the complaints that she had, all the problems that she had in her life. Before she got married to her husband, she went through some difficult
Sure.
circumstances. None of that mattered. None
Beautiful.
of that mattered. And all that mattered was the love. There was nothing she would take with her. The love that she had earned, that's the only currency that works there. The love that she had earned, and the love that she had left behind, given to people.
Wow. What an
And
incredible story.
that was my learning. That's been something I just clung to that.
Yes.
Like I'm never going to let it go. I clung to that and I said, this is what, if I have a life
Yes.
beyond my cancer experience,
Yes.
I will only be love.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to be. I will love people and I will
Yes.
learn the love of people. And that's all I like. Everything that I do revolves around just that one belief. It's like so deeply etched in my being that,
Yes.
yes, I do make mistakes. And sometimes I may come through as someone who's not being loving in that moment. But then I kind of ground myself, like I come back into alignment. I work on myself. I think it's
Yes.
like mindful conscious living, but that's
Yes.
what and I feel like cancer has been that gift in my life where I made that choice.
Yes. Beautiful.
you know
So beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with me. That's just so powerful and so beautiful and reminded me of so many things. So many
I'm
things I'd love
sure.
to
I'm
share with
sure.
you. Just, that first piece about that intuition, you are
Right.
so right. When your internal just being says no, there is
No.
something more to this story. And I have a very similar, story where I went when I asked for blood work at one of the clinics, and they
Right.
said, "You don't need any blood work." But I said, "I want the
Mm.
blood work. What? Check my blood. Check my
Yes.
blood. Why?
Mm.
And just they checked my blood, and yeah, she's like, your blood work is clean, and that's all. And she's like, oh, but you have low iron, but you could just take some
Mm.
iron supplements for that. And my now husband, we were together, says, okay, we can
Mm.
take some iron supplements to be better. I said, no. Why? Why all of a sudden am I low iron? Why am I anemic? I've
Right.
never been anemic
That.
before,
Yes.
right? So
So
that
the body is
intuition,
giving, yes, and the body
right?
is giving signals, right? Those were
Yes,
signals that something is not working in your
that's right.
body for you to be anemic. Yes, and
That's right.
the powerful thing about this journey is that is the learning that
Yeah,
the
of
body is
course.
your finite being. Your body is your
That's right.
finite being. So when your
Yes.
body starts failing you,
Yes.
allow your spirit to take over. That's the
Yes.
time when your infinite being has to take charge.
So much
You
greatness
know,
within us.
yes,
I always
that's
remember one quote that I'll always remember, and I actually have a tattoo on my finger here to remind me of it every single day, is the quote by Rumi. And this one pulls me through everything. And that is, you are not a drop in the ocean.
you
You
are the
are the
ocean.
entire ocean in a
Ocean.
drop.
Mm.
You are the ocean. You are the ocean. The power and impact of an ocean has no bounds. Within you is
Right.
the universe. You have all the
Absolutely.
power, everything you need inside of you. You are whole and complete. And that
Right.
quote is so powerful, so much so that this is a reminder, this constant reminder on my finger that no, you are the ocean. No, you are the ocean.
Absolutely.
And this story,
Absolutely.
this book that you shared with me, I would love to take a moment to share with you my experience.
Right.
I am so blessed to have a
Mm.
partner that
Mm.
loves me so much.
Much.
I
Absolutely.
cannot even thank the big G enough for this blessing in my life. There are so many stories of him showing me this love. I cannot, just little tiny
Absolutely.
stories. When I was losing my hair, we go through ups and downs in cancer. Mine was filled with ups and downs, just like anybody else. I don't want anybody to think for a single second that there weren't moments of sadness, that there were not moments of worry, that there were not moments, of doubt, moments. But it's not
Absolutely.
about, I never want somebody to look at me and say, well, she's just a positive person. No, positivity is a practice.
It's work.
It's
It's
work.
it's a lot
You
of
know,
work.
it's a lot of
Mm.
work and it's a practice, but anybody can do it. That's the thing. That's the takeaway. This isn't these special people that can be positive in times of difficulty. No, anybody. And there were moments in time, and I just want to share this love and for my husband and the gratitude I have with just, small little stories.
Right.
When I was losing my hair, it was difficult because growing up, I had allowed my hair to define me. My hair was a
You had,
defining
yes,
factor of
yes,
my being. It was long, so long,
beautiful.
always kept it long. Just so much attachment to this hair. My mom used to keep it in long French braids with baby breaths. It was tied up into who I was. And when I started to
Right.
lose my hair, that's another
Mm,
story of how I had the shift and what I made it to be. But I just want to
right.
share the love. When I started to lose my hair, I said to my now husband, because there are moments when I said to my now husband, I said, I'm sorry. And he said, why? Why are you
Mm,
apologizing? And I said, because you have to be with somebody that's losing their hair and has to wear a
right.
wig. And what he said to
Mm,
me in return was, you are so beautiful. You
right.
do not need that wig.
Mm,
And hair is only an accessory. And that love gave me strength to change my perspective and say to myself, cancer didn't make me bald. It was the cure for cancer that made me lose my
awesome.
hair. And that perspective shift made me understand that this is a gift,
Yes,
that I am well because I don't have hair, because of the
yes.
treatment. But that love, that trigger, helped me make that shift. And another thing is that the scar that I have from my open biopsy now is very faint,
Yes, I still have it.
and you can't see it much now. Rooting. And I wanted it to go away. Moments in
Mm,
time where I didn't like that and I wanted it to go away and I wanted to cover it up. And I said to my now husband, I said, I'm sorry. And he said, why? Why are you apologizing? And I said,
mm,
because you have to be with somebody that has this scar. And what he said to me in return was, what scar? That's just another beauty mark.
mm.
And that love made me shift my perspective that this scar is a badge of my strength and my courage. It tells a
Absolutely.
story of what I've gone through and
Yes,
who I am. But
right.
that love, I cannot say, like I said, enough praises to the big G. So that story resonates with me because I I'm so blessed with this
Absolutely.
partner that loves me unconditionally, just always positive, and just sees me for who I am, and and the greatness, and it goes two ways. I know I see his greatness. I support him in everything he does. We have this mutual, like, undying, supportive, unconditional love, and it really does prevail. That story,
Absolutely.
love conquers all, love prevails, being love, like you said, just love. I say, the universe, love from the universe into me, into the, from the universe to me, to me from the universe, just love, just love.
Yes,
And
yes.
one thing that he did, another trigger that was really, that really helped me with the surgery for my open biopsy, is that being young, you're going under, and there's a doctor
Mm,
going to cut by your jugular. And I
right.
was like, I don't want
Yes,
this. I don't want this. I'm feeling really not great about this, because my life all of a sudden is in this doctor's hands. What if he makes a
absolutely.
mistake? What if
Oh,
something goes
yes.
wrong? And you know what he said to me? I said, "Oh, now it's not in my hands." And he goes to me, "Nadia, it never was." And he
Yes,
pointed up.
right.
And that shift, I no longer had any worry about that surgery. I laughed with the surgeon ahead of time. I said, "Hey, don't do anything. I don't want any of these types of cuts. Make it straight. Make it, I just laughed. And as soon
Yes.
as the surgery was over and I opened my eyes, I grabbed the nurse's hand and I actually lifted up and I looked for the doctor. And they were all shocked. And I looked for the
Mm,
doctor and I found him and I said, "Thank you very much."
yes,
And he was just shocked. But it was I found through this journey that it's all about the perspective.
absolutely.
This is it. This is my learning, is You can't control your circumstances, but you can choose your perspective. And your perspective will determine your emotions, and your emotions will determine how you feel, and how you feel will determine what you do, and your life, and your relationships, and everything. This is it. The power of perspective. The power of perspective. When you look for gifts, you will find them. When you look for blessings, you will find them. And the opposite is
Absolutely.
true of grief and burdens. But when you look for the gifts and the blessings, you will find them. And that is because our minds are designed to find what we're looking for. And our internal
Absolutely.
dialogue is our roadmap. That's where we're
Absolutely.
going.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's where we're
Well,
going.
absolutely. Very true. Very well said. Very
And
true.
that's the learn. That's the learn. That's part of the can't. For me, that was part of the learning. Is that
Right.
what is the blessing? That's what I continuously ask myself then, and I continuously ask myself now, regardless of what's going on. What's the blessing, Nadia? Find the blessing.
Blessing.
Focus on the blessing. And when you
Absolutely.
do, your perspective shifts to the blessing. And it just changes the way you hold yourself, the way you interact with yourself, which is to me the most important relationship on the planet that you have.
Absolutely. Yes.
But that's it's the blessing. Just you find that, hang on to that. There's so much power in that. And
Absolutely.
it will change the course. Because what happens is that
Absolutely.
it changed your internal dialogue, and the internal
Yes.
dialogue is the roadmap. So then it changes the course.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And so, like, just for everyone to know, how long has it been that you've been, where are you at
Woo!
in your cancer journey? Tell
Woo!
us.
You'll never believe it. You'll never believe it. This year, 2021, will be 12 years.
Yes. Awesome.
I just turned 36 in January. Well, this month.
Awesome. Yes.
12 years. I can't believe the time. But it's a journey I would never trade. That I feel
Yes.
blessed to have gone through, the learning and the growth. But 12 years. It's
Yes.
wow. The time, unbelievable.
Right. Right.
Unbelievable.
Right. I've also come across a lot of people who are afraid to share that they went through cancer. There
Yeah,
are people who don't want to talk about it.
of course.
And
Personal
and
journeys,
and
yeah.
yes. And even when I was going through cancer, sometimes some people will have this belief, oh, it's karma, bad
Okay.
karma showing up. I mean, I had
Mm.
that experience from someone who did tell me that. So either you're
Right.
paying a price of what bad things your parents did, or what you did, and it's bad karma.
Mm.
And what would you have to say to people who face this, who have cancer, and who face this kind of feeling guilt or
Yeah.
shame because they're dealing with an illness like this?
Right. So for me, for my experience with this is that, the same thing that you shared earlier, those people that just look at me with puppy dog eyes,
Mm,
I couldn't take it. I
mm,
couldn't take it at the beginning. I'm 24. When I,
mm.
again, ready to attack the world, degree in hand, I'm like, okay, I got my education, gratitude to my parents, so much appreciation to the big G,
Right.
to my parents. Here I am, let's go. And then I get this diagnosis, and all of a sudden, exactly, people's interaction to me changed.
Yes.
Sick. She's sick. Poor
Poor
her.
thing.
And
Mm.
I poor thing. And I couldn't take it because I wasn't used to that and I didn't like it. It
Yes.
irked me. I never wanted
Yes.
anybody to feel sorry for me.
Yes.
I never wanted anybody to feel sorry for me. And those puppy dog eyes just
Absolutely.
irked me, just irked me.
Didn't
And you know
really
what?
help.
No.
Hmm.
Right. And so
Even
what
though they
happened?
have good intentions,
That's it. I was just going
they
to
might
say
have good intentions.
yes.
Yes. Hmm.
That's exactly what I was
But
going to
it
say.
doesn't really work.
Yes, exactly. So what had to happen to me and what did happen to me is that I was getting angry inside because I didn't
Mm.
like the feeling sorry for. I'm 24 years old, again, ready to attack the world. All of a sudden, everybody's looking at me with puppy dog eyes that I'm sick. And I
Mm.
never liked the feeling sorry for me. It wasn't a good feeling. So then again, what I had to do is I had to sit and there was a point of time where I just didn't interact because I had to
Yes.
figure this out. I was like, why is it irking me? What is going on? I gotta deal with this.
How
I
to
gotta deal with
deal with
this.
it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, I had to deal with it. So then what I did was I just sat and I reflected and I said, okay. And for me, it was understand that it's their way of showing you love. They
Mm.
don't know it doesn't work. They don't know it's not helping you. But like you
Yes.
just said, and you alluded to it, it's the intention. Nadia, focus on
On
the intention.
intention.
And
Right.
that's what I had to tell myself to get myself out of that. They're not trying to hurt you. They're trying to
Mm.
love you. They don't
Yes.
know how to help you. They feel bad that they can't help you. What's their intention? And with
Yeah.
that shift, with that perspective shift, okay, Nadia, see their intention. See their intention. Their intention is love. That's the way
Mm.
they're expressing that to you. They don't know they're
Right.
hurting you. They don't know it's not helping you. So when I
Right.
shifted that perspective to that their intention is love,
Right.
it helped remove that irkiness or what I was feeling, that like a little bit of anger. It helped take that away because I began to see that their intention was love. You just keep
Right.
being you, and you experience it the way you need to. But have to understand, like I'm telling myself, that their experiences of cancer, of somebody that's ill, they're feeling all of that. You're feeling something, but so are they, right?
Yes.
And they want to help you. This looking at it more from a pure intention really helped me in that regard. People not sharing in the beginning.
Yeah.
I wasn't right at the beginning. I started to share, but again, it was an intentional, conscious sharing. In the beginning, because
Right.
I didn't like that I feel sorry for you, I wasn't sharing. But then when I
Absolutely.
shifted the perspective to their intention and understanding that, like to me, the big G is saying, can you walk the walk? I believe, and I had this
Right.
moment, and I'll share with you. I had this moment. I was in the hospital, and it was just rounding up that first week of tests. And this lady, who's now passed, her name was Bernadette. She was
Mm.
elderly. She was right
Mm.
beside me in the hospital bed, and she was a beautiful soul and said to me, are you scared?
Mm.
And in that moment, I didn't answer her. And she was kind of
Of
waiting for a
course.
response. Because I was only 24 and I was just
Mm.
finishing up the first week. This numbness is still kind of there. And I didn't answer right away. I just stopped and I just closed my eyes. And she's looking at me. She can see that I'm processing. And I opened my eyes to her and I said, no. And she said, why? You're so young. And I said, because I know that God has more work for me to do here.
Mm.
And with that, along with the removing and understanding their intention, I was
Right.
like, I need to share because it might help somebody. And if
Mm.
you're getting gifts of these types of this type of experience, gifts within them or the
Mm.
learnings, gifts are meant to be shared. Gifts are meant to be shared. If we lock it
Mm.
all up and we're not sharing these gifts, who are they benefiting? Us, yes, maybe, but we're each a droplet of hope, and together we can be an ocean. Together we can be an ocean. And with my perspective, is that challenges are preparing us for our greatness.
Mm.
Challenges are stepping stones to our greatness. All
Mm.
these perspectives of karma karma or repenting or whatever, these perspectives, these are perspectives and they're
Mm.
individual and there's no judgment.
Absolutely.
There's only love, but our internal dialogue is ours. And mine
Yes.
is that our challenges are stepping stones to our greatness. What you are going through today is preparing you for the greatness of tomorrow, a greatness that awaits you.
Absolutely.
And I hold this perspective that God will train you and then he will test you. So whatever you're going through,
Mm.
you have the skills, the knowledge, the know-how in other forms for this test. And the
Mm.
stronger you are, the harder your test. So be inspired by that strength that God knows you have. So again, all those perspectives that exist, that's for each individual to take on. But
Mm.
we decide our story. You had mentioned that. We decide our perspective. We decide our story. And the more we repeat our story, the more we believe it. The more we repeat it, the more we believe it. The more we repeat it, the more we affirm it. The more we believe it, and the more it guides us as our internal
Right.
dialogue.
Right. So you didn't let any clouds of doubt hide the North Star that led you to where you are today.
You know, there were, and I did mention, that there were moments. There were moments of,
Mm.
there were moments of a little,
Of
steps
darkness.
back,
Yes.
right? And I
Mm.
wouldn't say retreat, because if we step back, it doesn't mean we're retreating. It means, we're reflecting.
Also to have clarity, you know.
Yes. Yes. So, I want people to know that ups and downs, pain and gratitude, just it comes with it, right? I always think
Yes.
about it like this. Life is like a heartbeat filled with ups and downs. Now, if the
Right.
ups and downs stop, what happens?
Right.
There's no more.
Absolutely.
There's no
Absolutely.
more. So there's the ups and downs, and which is a part of it. But I do truly believe that our challenges are there to help us, not hurt us. Inspire, not discourage, bring us closer to God, not further. And some people say, why? Like, how do you, what do you mean help?
Mm.
What do you mean help us? And I say to
Mm.
myself, well, there's a saying, and you might know it, that struggle is the meaning of life. That's the first part of it. And I was like, how is struggle the meaning of life? What do you mean? And I was like, okay,
Mm.
think, what could this be? And it took me a while. And and to me, I was like, okay, if I'm not struggling, I'm not learning. If I'm not learning, I'm not growing.
Mm.
And if I'm not growing, I'm not living. And to live is a blessing.
Mm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. And so, tell us what's next for you. What are you creating? What are you creating?
Oh my goodness. So
Mm.
after the cancer,
Mm.
I did that, and I did an album. Okay, an album called Hope. And what I did was, as my hair grew back, I shaved the word hope in it. And each picture, I don't know if you've seen it, but each
Yes.
picture is accompanied with a quote. And,
Mm.
from the cancer was born Choose I Can.
Right.
And it's this undying belief that when we choose I Can, body, mind, spirit, we are limitless. And our potential is truly infinite. So
Yes.
Choose I Can is a movement. This movement of, choosing I Can, choosing to believe in yourself. Because
Right.
I write quotes and praises to the big G. I write quotes, and one of them is, if you can breathe and believe, that's all you need to succeed. That is it. There is no, I need this. No, if you can breathe and believe, then that is all you need to succeed. That is it. You got it already. There is greatness within you waiting to be unleashed. Waiting.
Absolutely.
You are born with so much power, so much resilience, so much brilliance. You just have to believe it. So Choose I Can is my personal brand. It focuses
Right.
on positive mental health, self-awareness, and resilience. But to sum that all up,
Absolutely.
it's really just about believing. It's this believe movement. It's just choose I can. You say you can't and it's done. You say you can and you have won. And that's the essence. That's the essence, that I want to. And it's all done through perspective, embodiment, and visualization. Being a drama teacher, I also offer workshops where we use drama strategies to explore perspective, embodiment, and visualization to step into greatness. These visual
Absolutely.
exercises of you literally stepping into your greatness. This choose I can is all about, encouraging people to choose I can and step into innate, God gifted greatness. That idea
Mhm.
to help show it somehow with his blessing that we're the ocean.
Right.
And that's what choose I can is. And choose I can, again, it's all about positive mental health. So that positive self-talk,
Right.
self-awareness, explore what's going on, uncover, unwrap, explore, reflect. And then resilience. It's that idea that every opportunity is, every challenge is an opportunity to rise like the sun. Setting is not an option.
Right.
Right? Setting is not an option. So with Choose I Can, it's quotes, it's workshops, it's videos. I do 2-minute videos every week. It's just spreading love. Love.
Absolutely.
It's just I believe that it's part of that thought I had that God has more work for you to do here. This is
Right.
part of the work that he wanted me to do.
Right.
That is my belief. So if I don't do it, I don't want my maker at the end of the day to say, so what did you do with those gifts? I want to say that I tried and I gave it
Yes.
all I could. And I took,
Mm.
the blessings, the seeked out blessings.
Mm.
And Choose I Can was born. And I'm so blessed to be breathing life into Choose I Can the way I've been doing, because it was a dream for 10 years. I'm 12 years in now into my remission, but it was this dream, this constant
Calling.
dream, constant calling. And different things held me back. And I know that's a story for another day, to what finally made me say, I'm going to do this.
Yes.
And really, in the end, it's just, you need to do what makes you happy. You need to not worry about X, Y, Z. Do what makes you happy. Do what, you got to believe with the utmost certainty that your dream is your destiny. So you can't let
Yes.
time, expectations, you just believe with 100% certainty that your dream is your destiny. And, I'm just like, no, I got to go all in with Choose I Can, because at the end of the day, when I take that rocking chair test, I need to have no regrets. And I'm loving every minute of sharing the Choose I Can message, and feel so blessed to be able to do so. And praises to the Big G all day long. And my family for supporting me, loving me, believing in me. And, I include you in that family. So thank you for loving me and believing in me and being there for me. You've always been there for me to talk to show me love. You're just such a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. The secret of how people believe in you and love you is because they see you believe in yourself. So,
That's
so the conviction that you come with is what gets passed on to people. When you show up as someone who believes in herself, the others will believe in you.
and I'm hoping
That's
that
the
Thank you. And I'm hoping that that will help others believe in themselves.
Yes, it will. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're an amazing beacon of light. You have no idea, or maybe you do, about how you touch, move, and inspire people around you, not just on a show, not just on your Choose I Can platform, but in the way you are. I know you for a few years now. I've watched you. It's your way of being. And with having said that, thank you for being here with us. I love you and I adore
Goodness, what an
you.
honor.
And we all do. We all love you, adore you. We want you shining and shining and shining and spreading your light. Keep doing what you're doing. And I'd love to work with you in the future. And
Yes.
thank you to all those who watched. Please share this video. Someone needs to hear her message, and her message has so much gold in it. Just touch, move, and inspire people by sharing what Nadia had to share today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
You know, I thank you. I love you so much. Thank you for this opportunity, this privilege, this honor, just being in your presence. Thank you for your kindness, your positivity, your light, your hope, all that you do. You inspire so much, so many, including myself. Again, just
Thank
so much
you.
love to you, your family. Just my heart, my
Thank
soul
you.
is just gleaming, you know, being able to have been here with you.
Thank you.
And so much gratitude to you for,
Thank
again,
you.
this and your words and all, again, all to the big G and my
Thank
family
you.
and the love that,
Thank
you know,
you.
people like you give me. And I pray that, yes, we get a chance to work together soon.
Yes. Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you, thank you, thank you so much, love. And thank you for everybody
Thank you.
that watched. Just continue choosing I can. Your greatness awaits.
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome. Bye. Bye.
Bye for now.